Hello, hello to anyone who is watching this video or listening to the video. What you are, I guess, watching or listening is a game that was arranged through the Gauntlet, which is a community on the internet that gets together and plays tabletop role-playing games online, mostly of the indie persuasion, powered by the Apocalypse games, Forge in the Dark games, story games, GM-less stuff, all kinds of really rad games, and you can find all the stuff that the Gauntlet does at gauntlet-rpg.com, where you find all sorts related to indie role-playing games. Stuff like blogs or forums. There's the zine that the Gauntlet puts out called Codex, which usually contains supplements to existing games or original games in itself. There is also there's a podcasting network where Gauntlet members of Gauntlet talk about games they've been involved in the community and out, and also podcasts like Plus One Forward, which is a podcast powered by the Apocalypse. All sorts of cool things. I'll apologize to anyone who's listening or watching because I'm a bit sniffly, so I'll have to mute periodically to sneeze my lungs out, so to speak. Here we go. A moment's about to happen. Thank God for muting. But the main thing, I would say, let's see, other stuff about the Gauntlet. There is the Gauntlet Open Gaming Weekend, Gauntlet Community Open Gaming, which is coming up in, close to when this video comes out, in 2 weeks. Shit, I need to put my games up. Which is where it's a free weekend where folks from outside Gauntlet can come in and play with ourselves. There's a lot of really cool games up on the it's the weekend of the 15th. For anyone who's watching, there'll be a link down below for details and whatnot for things you can check out. But of course, the other main feature of the Gauntlet is the calendar, to which all the games that we're playing are put up. There's 100 plus put up each month, and all sorts of really rad games on it, including this one. This is the fifth session of, fourth session, because we missed a week. Damn me. The fourth session of our month-long look at Apocalypse Keys, which is a powered by the Apocalypse game by Jami Nejadi of Sword Queen Games. It is a game of monsters working for this mysterious clandestine division, solving mysteries, fighting other monsters, trying to hold back the apocalypse while trying to hold back the darkness within themselves, and reaching out for each other to help them do the same. It's a game of action, mystery, intrigue, horror, emotions, all that fun stuff. If you want to check out more of Apocalypse Keys, definitely there'll be a link down below or in the description of this video slash audio that you're listening to. Hey, if you don't know, you can listen to these Gauntlet videos through on podcast form. The link down below as well. But before we kind of jump into the game itself, let's first meet our players. So I'll ask yourselves to introduce just yourselves as just the players. We'll get to characters later. So just introduce yourselves, pronouns, and if there's anything you want to plug, that's cool on the internet, because despite what you might think, there are some cool things in the internet, like this. So I should introduce myself first. My name's Leandro. I use he, him pronouns. I don't really have anything to plug other than, I guess, I am running one game, maybe 2 or 3 more for Gauntlet Open Gaming Weekend. There is one up there. I'm running a session of Good Society, the Jane Austen RPG, using the Lady Susan PI expansion, which is a murder, drama, mystery, shenanigans game. Basically, it's like Knives Out, but yeah, it's basically Knives Out, honestly, in Regency England. So watch out for that. Let's go left to right on the keeper, and just so for now, just introduce yourselves, just the folks. We'll get to characters in a minute. So Mario, tell us about yourself.
Hey, my name is Mario. You use he and pronouns. I don't have anything to say really besides, come join the Gauntlet, play with us. It's tremendous fun, and maybe if you try to do that, check out Open Gaming Weekend.
Hell yeah, no, absolutely do. The weekend of the 15th. Just watch out. Up next, I should have this on my tab. Sabine, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Sabine. I use any pronouns, and I can just echo Mario that come join us in our noble quest for the perfect game, or at least an enjoyable game. On the Gauntlet Con or Open Gaming Weekend, I will run a game, and it will be a game of passion and drama and stuff like that. And it will be set in Conan's age, basically, in a decaying, decadent city where maybe some outsider comes and chaos ensues. And secrets will be revealed, of course, because it's based on Pasión de las Pasiones, the telenovela game from Brennan Lee and Gambetta. But I think it works perfectly well with Conan, right?
I've seen that game be taken to such weird corners of fiction. It is, as Brandon says on Twitter, the best role-playing game in the world. Jim, why don't you introduce yourself?
Well, as someone who played in a Borderlands version of that, of Pasión de las Pasiones, I can only agree that was a lot of fun. I was a psycho in that game using the El Jefe playbook. So, anyways, but I digress. I'm Jim Crocker. Folks that know me from outside the Gauntlet may know me because I was a retailer of games for many years. I've recently shuttered my business, so I'm just playing and running online a whole lot. I've started doing some game writing. Had some stuff show up in Codex. Trophy Dark scenario called the Flocculent Cathedral that they had taken to using as kind of an intro scenario. I've got Brindlewood Bay Adventure coming out. I've written some stuff for the Trophy Gold supplement. I'll have stuff in the Brindlewood Bay book of, when that book is issued. So that's kind of fun, starting to explore some game writing and things like that. I run and play a whole lot of games on the Gauntlet and am still getting my sea legs under me as the organizer for these Gauntlet online gaming events, which hopefully this one is proof of concept for me. It's been a few hiccups, but we've got actual registration where you can sign up to play in games. That's in 2 days. That's October 1st, Eastern time at noon. So if you were thinking about getting a game in, now is the time to do it. Now. Do you understand? Now. So I've put my games in. I'm going to be running my crowd pleaser Batman Final Girl hack, where everybody plays Batman villains getting taken down by Batman, which is just a lot of goofy fun. And my Trophy Gold scenario, which is called Top of the World, which is about a bunch of adventurers trying to escape from a great big Ankh-Morpork style fantasy city by fleeing over its rooftops. Which is just I'm listening to Jason Cordova running it right now, and it sounds like it's a blast. So I wanted to go ahead and do that. But definitely encourage everybody join us. If you'd like to run something, it's not too late. If you'd like to just join us to play even a single game, it's a whole lot of fun. I encourage you to do it. You can sign up for games starting on October 1st, and then anytime after that, we're going to let people go ahead and keep adding games right up until the event itself happens. So do join us for that. Looking forward to it.
Hell yeah. There'll be a link down below to check out all the details about that. But yeah, last but not least, Brandon, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Brandon. I have run a couple of games online, but nothing for Gauntlet. It's just a matter of time. I've created and run a lot of LARPs mostly in my life, and but I love tabletop, and as I said, I'm hoping to do that. The only online games the last online game that I ran before was at a different con. It was a version of Alice is Missing, and I'm sure that I will run something for Gauntlet at some point. But I'm sure I'm going to participate in a number of games in the next coming months.
Hell yeah. Looking forward to seeing yourself get more stuck in the Gauntlet, Brandon. Cool. So, as mentioned, Apocalypse Keys is a game, inspired by heavily inspired by Hellboy, both comics and movies. There's a lot of rule of cool and emotional relationships, found families, harbingers of the apocalypse. you only have each other because you're monsters fighting monsters whilst working for the division. But who are these monsters? And let's see how they fared in last week's shenanigans. So again, we're gonna go left to right. Double back to you, Mario. Tell us about our summoned.
So, our summoned goes by the name Cameron Sweettooth. He has been summoned in 1553, which at that time he was really, really young. By now he's the equivalent of a 20-year-old. And that is because the crocodile people from the realm he's summoned from got really, really old. So his surname is because ever since he had been summoned, he didn't really like human food. He didn't really like much on Earth besides sweets. And there we got the first hint of what happened to the poor guy last session. No spoilers yet. Apart from that, he's the muscle guy. He usually takes out the big bad guys. He can throw punches. And yeah, well, he likes sweets. He really does.
Yeah, we'll see how poor Cameron was hoisting his own petard, and hence why he wasn't he couldn't be there for the showdown with the Mystery's Big Bad. Someone who was there, sorry, Cameron. Sabine, tell us about our pure, and of course, yes, that's a different picture. Of course, it is. But yeah, tell us about Shard.
I think they got themselves together a little after the last session. So I'm playing Shard. Shard is the pure. I think it was maybe 100 years ago, if we're playing in the modern time at least, that Shard had there happened something to Shard. There was a loved one, Cassandra, who turned them into what they are now, and what they are now is a body that tries to grow and that tries to envelop things and it tries to make things more perfect. And I think last time they picked up such a perfect thing, which was Bella's eye. That is still in the body, but hidden away, which is probably a very good idea. So yeah, and Shard has lost a lot of the memories of their mortal life, and mostly they drift around and wait for people to shout at them to use their power or to do something, or to shout at them because they use their power. It's been like that for a while now. So that's what they know. They are a shape shifter there. That's the power. I can't scroll here. That's not my power. That's Leandro's power. But yes, thank you. The power is body and flesh manipulation, and that can mean that their body will just dissolve into lots of strands of, well, basically flesh, and then grow over everything that is in the way. That is a bit creepy, but I don't know. I didn't make up this power.
Yes, you did.
Yeah, sure.
You're disclaiming your responsibility. That's all.
Man, well, I don't know. Shard seems like a sweet. I'm sure they're not gonna do anything. They're not gonna make any bad decisions. No, they haven't done. No, absolutely.
I
not.
didn't make up this power that I explicitly chose during character creation. That's
Okay. Ignory stuff. What can I say? I'm sorry.
That's fantastic.
You fess up it. You chose to grab that evil eye. for yourself. You have it now. We'll deal with that later. For now, though, let's move to our found, which, Jim, you can tell us more about.
Yes. The Found is the playbook that you play if you want to be Abe Sapien, if you want to be the alien or non-human life form that was discovered and raised or indoctrinated into human culture, but that very much has biology, physiology, perhaps concerns or outlooks that are very much not human. So I'm playing Anther, who is a plant creature who was discovered as a desiccated seed pod on the dark side of the moon in the 1982 unofficial off-books moon landing that Leandra loves so much, but brought back to Earth as almost as an afterthought by an astronaut who thought it was just a weird moon rock. But then as soon as it hit the atmosphere, a bud sprouted out of it, and eventually after it was brought to the division and tended to by division scientists, and I grew out of it and am now a sentient plant person trying to figure out exactly how human emotions work and why people are so concerned about their biological processes and exactly what death is, because I don't really understand it. And so that's a lot of the stuff that we've been investigating as we've been going along. I have some powers that include telepathy and mind blasts, which we have skinned as controlling microfauna that exists just in the air and kind of in human bodies, maybe something to do with pheromones or spores or something like that, kind of hand wavy comic book science, like hyperbotany kind of stuff. And normally when you are the Found, you could take something called creature affinity, which in a broad reading, I think means you take on aspects of different kinds of, animals or creatures or something like that. And I interpreted that broadly and chose plants as the thing that I have affinity with. So, I probably burn better than somebody, with regular flesh and blood might, but I don't need to eat in the same way that they do, although I do need sunlight and nutrients and stuff like that. So I've been having a lot of fun with this. And just recently, I took an advance which is about the orphanage at the division that Leandro mentioned earlier. So I, as a literal foundling, this was where I grew up. And so when I saw that was a thing we could add to kind of our division playbook as we go along, it definitely interested me. And that's what I'm hoping we're gonna, get a chance to maybe explore this session. So that's Anther.
Hell yeah, I'm looking forward to that for sure. Before we get to that, I think Jamie put this playbook deliberately as the last one in this character keeper, because it is the last, who's played by Brandon. Brandon, tell us all about your character.
So the last is a character that is, as the name implies, the last of their kind in some way. And my character is Hope, who appears to be a young woman, perhaps in her early 20s, travels around with a small orange and white cat named Humphrey, and who, notwithstanding that she is in with a group of monstrous individuals who defy human norms in a great number of ways, and that they're fighting overt, horrible entities that are trying to destroy the world, or at least wreak havoc on large portions of it. She's often very sweet and upbeat, but Hope fits her name well, because she's from the future. She's from the future that doesn't turn out well. And she was enabled by her family to travel back in time to now in order to try to make things come out better. And she has been, her exposure to the other people at the division, and the recognition of the shared sentient nature between them. Humanity doesn't seem like the right word. Has caused her to really reconsider what she was originally sent back for, because for all that she seems like a normal human being, and in fact can't be told from a normal human being with technology that exists in this era. Hope is actually a clone from a future where clones are created as a highly intelligent, malleable labor force, and then are intended to be destroyed by humanity, who has decided that they're a threat. So Hope's original mission was to find essentially weapons of mass destruction, not in the normal sense, but in the supernatural sense, and put them in places where her family will be able to find them when the war breaks out, and thus have a chance of defeating humanity. And she is fighting against this. Her powers are time and space manipulation. She can phase, she can rewind time briefly and do some other things that nobody's seen yet. But she is in many ways a paradox, both literally and mentally, both in her own motivations and desires and in her own self. She is, in a way, striving to undo the conditions that caused her to be here in the first place.
And we all love her for it. Everyone loves to try her. We're rooting for her. Cool. So before we do jump into where we are right now, into the fiction and the game proper, I do want to talk about the safety tools that we're using today. First off, if y'all would go to the safety/dice tab in our character keeper, there's our rows of lines and veils and ask first. For those who may not know what they are, lines are like basically things that won't be crossed, just concept or ideas that just won't show up in the fiction at all. Veils are things that can happen in fiction, but it's not something that is going to be concentrated on. Like maybe it gets a sentence or two, or it happens off screen. There's also ask first, which basically, if these things are marked as ask first, they can be included in the fiction. Just be sure to flag it, or we'll put it to the table if it's okay to add this, and we might clarify what exactly and how exactly we're adding this. So have a look through those for the moment, and once they're all okay with you, or if there's anything else you want to add, feel free to do so. It's a living document, so we'll come back to it if need be. But have a look through those, and if it's all okay with yourselves, just say okay in the chat.
I have a question, actually. I saw that religion as positive has an ask first there, and I chose one of the division moves, which says holy symbol arsenal. I don't know if that would fall under this ask first thingy, because I didn't see it last time. I think the ask first line, or when I chose the holy arsenal. So I just wanted to check if this is problematic for anybody.
No, I'm quite fine with it, especially in the way how it turned out. I think what I'm trying to say with that ask first is that I don't want organized religion to solve the problems of the world.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
but mythology wise, it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. Okay, cool. keep it.
Okay, so all right, I'll give you all like a minute or so. Like, yeah, just say okay in the chat if it's all good with yourselves. Okay, cool. Damn it, I just accidentally clicked on Photoshop. This is like the third time in as many days I'm running a game and I clicked on Photoshop. I should unpin this program. I don't even use it that much. Cool. So the other safe tool that we're using is called script change. It's basically like a set of commands that would help us like just modulate the fiction if need be, just give us like a bit more finer control. There's 3 commands that are pertinent. You know, they're kind of like basically, if you know commands are remote control, you're kind of like solid with that. So the first one is rewind. When you call for a rewind, you like back up to a specific point in the scene, and you do the scene over again, trying to avoid whatever issue led to the rewind and trying a different way. And it could be any issue. It could be like a name, or it could be like just the tone of a scene, or even maybe just like the scene itself, the premise. You can say, you can call for a rewind. You don't have to explain what the issue is or why you have an issue. Because I will probably ask like exactly what we're trying to avoid. But first, you don't have to explain why you have an issue with whatever it is we're trying to avoid. And if the rewind is called, we'll all respect that. We'll rewind and try something else. There's also fast forward, which if you call for that, basically we kind of like fade to black and advance time is needed to avoid content, elements of play, or just to move forward in time. It's kind of like an extension of the veils thing where like, say, we know exactly what's going to happen in a particular moment and we don't need to linger on it. We can just, fast forward. We know what's going to happen. We don't need to linger. So that's what that's what we use it for. And then there's pause, which you can call for a pause if you need a break, basically. It's part of the kind of open door policy we have here in the gauntlet, which basically means that like if you need to step away from the table for any reason, and any reason is perfectly fine. It could be an emergency you need to take care of, or you're more tired than you thought, you need to step away from the table because of reasons and whatnot. Or you need to take a break, like a bio break. You can call for pause and will try to accommodate yourselves. That's not the only reasons. There could be other reasons why you want to call for a pause. Like maybe it's an intense scene. We're like, all right, we need to like calm down and talk this through, like step away for a moment. Or if like you want to pause to seek like clarity or discussion, like, hey, why is this happening? Why are we in a floating greenhouse that's floating above the Himalayas, and we're being attacked by sentient lightning snakes? How did that happen? I'm gonna note that down. Sentient lightning snakes. Original idea, do not steal. So that's another reason for the pause. And the open door policy does affect me as well, as in that I can also take advantage of that if need be. If like I call for a break, and I usually try to give how long we're going to stay away, like either like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. If I don't come back, probably like 5 minutes after what I'm meant to be, usually I'll try to message yourselves if there's any reason. But if you don't hear anything from me, don't assume that I might like come back in a more timely fashion. And feel free to step away from the table if that were the case. I'll usually try to message yourselves and just give you a forewarning if that's the case. But so with that in mind, that's a good question, Sabine. Lightning stakes as in steaks, or lightning stakes as in steaks? That's a question for the mystery. Okay, cool. I know what I'm running for Gauntlet Open Gaming now. All right, so last session, y'all kind of like did it. You were in Dublin. You got into your feelings. You looked into the hauntings, talked to some ghosts, and beat up your mysterious distended conductor, Fey Boy Balor. So that's all kind of like wrap up. And as I mentioned, this session is gonna be like we're gonna like cool down and and go back to the vision, debrief, see what life is like in between missions. There is like a starting move for hope, but before we get to that, I do want to go to poor Cameron Sweet Tooth. Uh, Mario, you had some ideas as to what happened to Word Cameron. Why was he why was he not part of the beatdown?
Yeah, I think on the way back from the mission and fighting the big bad guy, one of the others from the group just accidentally runs into me as I'm like leaving a small alleyway, and I'm looking really sort of beaten and like freaked out, um and then I'm like, oh, so glad I found you guys. You won't believe what happened to me. I got this note. Looked like Hope's handwriting, and I came here to meet you all, and none of you showed up, and that lovely sweet shop just over there. Well, I couldn't resist. I bought some sweets to just like have a snack while waiting, uh and all of a sudden uh everything went dark, and then I just woke up just a couple minutes ago, but I'm 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 worried. I might have caused some harm. I can taste blood in my mouth. I don't know what happened.
Hope says, it's fine. And you see her arm is bandaged.
Oh,
It's okay. Don't worry.
I'm so
You
no,
you ate an awful lot of those things all at once, and I think it made you a little drunk, or something like that. Anyway, it's fine. I'll be fine.
No, it's not fine. I took an oath to not eat other people, and
You didn't eat
now
me.
I've bitten.
You just bit me on the arm, hard.
But that is sort of breaking the oath. I don't know what to do.
That qualifies as eating me because you were just. I just. Well, I'm sorry. It was my fault. I should have just left you alone. I apologize.
No,
Cameron,
friends don't eat friends. I do know that.
I was just gonna mention, Cameron. It sounds like you're dealing with forceful emotional turmoil and pressure from your past responsibilities or relationships.
Mhm.
Do you want to listen to the dark?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, I put the link to the dice roller in the chat. It's the same as always. You roll plus darkness. You have 3 tokens.
I do. Yeah, why not go all in and make it dangerous? So it's 2 of them. Oh, lucky me! It's an 8 then.
Of course. Oh, fucking course. It never ends. The parade of beautiful and
I blew it twice last time.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, I see here. Yeah, it's right there. The nice thing with this
And
dice
I
roller.
overshot once. So
Yes,
yeah,
and
that's true.
I would have blown it a third time except for Humphrey.
Oh yeah. Cool. But no, I'm play acting, complaining. It's all good. But yeah, on an 8 to 10, you managed to keep yourself together, Cameron, which is good. But what insight do you gain about your darkness?
Yeah, that is a super interesting question. And I would like to for others to have a say on that, because I think Cameron is well, a construct of its surroundings, because he came here so young, Um, hmm.
Well, let's see. Your darkness wants you to yearn for a love that you can never have.
What is the kind of like love that Cameron like? The darkness kind of like, or at least the darkness within him knows that he wants.
I mean, what about I have this other thing that I swore to never eat anybody. What if that makes me even stronger and more powerful and more like
So you're saying like eating
feral,
like
so
tasting
that
blood.
like
Go ahead.
yeah, and now I've got that taste back, and I'm wondering how could you possibly tell like from my physical form that I taste the blood? Like what did change? Anybody an idea on that?
Maybe it's the color of your skin. Maybe
Yes,
there's
it's
a little
more.
tinge.
Yeah, it's brighter.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's you have your skin is a little greenish, right? So it's more of an emerald.
yeah.
Has something of an emerald tinge, almost a gem-like quality. Just a tiny bit, if the light strikes it.
God. I'm now living for there is a splash page somewhere in this comic book's future where Cameron's incredibly luminescently emerald. It's gonna be the best and the worst. Is that cool with you, Cameron?
Absolutely, and I would say there is therefore hope will notice that me being worried is not only about having like bitten a friend or even somebody I consider family. It's also about I realize something is happening within my body, and I'm on the brink of losing control.
And I say, Hope says, I know, but I'm pretty sure that you come back from it when you do. Pretty sure.
Yeah, I'm sure I will. I'm not sure Dublin will.
Speaking of Dublin, you hear Nicole McCarthy just going, what the hell are you all still doing here? And don't you know division protocol? We've secured the object. We need to feck off from the premises. And you see that like she has somehow procured a second van because the first
one got
van
trashed.
Yeah, it got trashed. If asked, she would just go ahead.
Yes, go ahead. And then I'm going to reach for the light with
yes.
Cameron.
Yeah, I think like she's basically just has a van and she's basically telling you all to like get in here so we can get out before anyone notices that you've trashed this construction site. But yeah, Hope, you want to reach out to Cameron?
I'll spend 2.
Hell yeah.
9.
Hell yeah. All right. So when you reach out for the light, I think we know how you sincerely connected to Cameron, and you both find in the light in the dark. How do you gain hope? And that goes to the both of you.
Feel free.
This goes for you as well, Cameron. How do you gain hope from hope?
Just to have more of a comic, like a goofy comic touch to it. Would you please rub my belly? I've got this belly ache from all the sweets, and that surely would give me hope and comfort.
Okay. Of course. She starts to massage your stomach, which it's comical because you are so big and she is small. And
So
also Humphrey is helping out.
cool.
He's just, I mean, he weighs about 5 pounds, but he's curled up on your stomach while she's massaging it.
And I'm like one of these cats that if you stroke them, they start moving their legs or something. So one of my arms is like uh, just moving real quick, and it shows that I'm enjoying it tremendously. But how could the situation bring some comfort for Hope?
I mean, it brings comfort for Hope to relieve your distress,
Oh.
especially since you bit her, which of course no one else remembers it happening.
Yeah, it just kind of just happened.
Obviously, I mean, she has a bandage, the blood seeping into it.
Yeah. Funny how that didn't come up in the previous session. All right, so each of you choose one from the Reach for the Light list.
Yeah, I'll clear a mark of doom. I certainly marked enough of them.
I will create a bond. Such a belly rub is. I'm at 0, so I can add 1.
Yeah. Oh, I should mention when you can have a max of like +3 bonds with someone. If it goes higher, you reset it to 0, mark XP, and then reveal something about that person, subject to PC approval, of course. If it's NPC, you can go to town. Cool.
Yes.
I want to see Shard and Anther at this moment before, unless there's nothing else you want to do while in Dublin.
I have to pick a doom move.
Oh, you do.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you.
And I will as soon as I find the PDF.
Yeah.
It's not there.
Oh, they're all in the Character Keeper tab as well. If you go to Pure Moves and scroll down.
I have them here. So mysteries, blah blah blah, Apocalypse keys, playbooks. Maybe I'll just use the tab. There are so many tabs.
Yeah.
Basic moves. They're in the division moves.
No, they're in the Pure Moves. It's next to your main character tab.
Right.
Yeah, because each playbook has specific doom moves.
I see. Where are you? Oh, there you are. Okay.
Okay. Hold on. I need to merge this. There we go. Yeah, they're fun ones. There's a question I want to ask Anther. While we're kind of here in this still space. Those ghosts that you kind of like fed into the distended conductor to distract them. What happens to them, or what happened to them? Because they kind of need a bridge to get back, and you all kind of destroyed the portal. But I do want to know what you think happens to them.
Well, I think they dispersed across the city.
Yeah, I think.
Wherever they were drawn to, they were drawn to there. The like individual minor hauntings are not really our problem.
That's true, and these are like minor enough.
I kind of, they all kind of, none of them individually seemed all that, malevolent or interested in causing problems or anything like that. It was kind of like, I'm gonna trust that they can find their way back to where they need to be.
Yeah. I think before she goes, your friend wants to say a few words.
Sure.
Your businesswoman friend. And this could just be happening in, again, the space that the two of you kind of like carved out for yourself. And I think she's just saying like, so you're really just gonna let us go like that?
Why would I not?
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna complain, but given what you just did, you took us in just like that, and there were a lot of us, and you're just going to just let us go like that?
Why would I not?
I'm just curious.
Your consciousnesses with agency. I would not seek to impose my will upon you, as the conductor did.
Well, that's honestly that's good to know, because I mean, you can, but I'm glad to know that you won't.
It is not within my remit to do so.
Well, remits change, and you think you're doing one thing for one reason, and then time passes and reasons change. You know?
Well, yes, that is the nature of consciousness and entropy.
Yeah. I'm just saying, you're doing good right now. Just keep doing good, and I don't know if I'll see you again. I don't know where I'm headed.
Well, a prosperous journey then.
You too. Oh, this is silly. I don't think I even know your name.
Anther. That's my designation.
Well, when I was born, my mother had a fight with her 5 sisters on what the name was. So, would you believe it? I have 5 names and on my birth certificate, and it's. I swear to God, I hope they didn't put all 5 of those on my tombstone. But you can call me Anya.
Is it significant to you, this certificate?
It's a little thing in the world that tells the world I existed for a moment.
So it's not for you.
I guess so.
As a tool for mediation, it seems inefficient. Although I suppose it did settle that dispute.
See, that's it. And we're not put here to solve inefficiency. We're just put here to try to please everyone. But let me tell you, that birth certificate didn't please anyone.
I have never met, and indeed do not even know, whether I have a biological parent in the sense that you would understand it. The most significant point of disagreement between the scientists who raised me was whether I should be terminated and dissected or allowed to develop.
I think like her eyes kind of like widen at that, and it's like,
yeah, and I say it very matter of factly, like that's just how it was.
oh wow, I keep forgetting we kind of live on different scales. I have a lot of disagreements with my mom, but I don't think, God bless her soul, I don't think she ever disagreed on my existence. I'm lucky for that.
It is the subject of similar debate amongst those who raised, I suppose is the word that you would use, me, whether I am capable of death in the same sense that you would understand it biologically.
Well, I hope, even though that seems like a big question, I hope you don't have to find out the answer soon enough.
I believe it is appropriate for me to thank you.
I don't know where I'm going next, but if I see you again soon, hopefully it's like this and not because you've ended up where I am right now.
Well, knowing there's a possibility that you may be there to guide me through that process makes it less formidable, less, I don't know what the proper expression is. It seems like a daunting task. To have a guide would seems as if it would make the task easier.
Are you reaching out for light with this businesswoman, you think?
I guess I kind of am in my own
Yeah.
awkward plant person way. Sure,
Yeah.
why not? Yeah,
What's the worst that could happen?
yeah, all right. So I think I'm reacting. I'm going to take a couple of darkness tokens, because one of the things that I do is when one of the ways that I can get darkness is when I react with uncertainty or cowardice. And we have already established that when we start talking about this heavy stuff, Anther feels like they are not on solid ground and can speak with any kind of authority. So I take 2 tokens for that, and then I'm going to spend them to roll at +2.
Oh yeah.
And see what we got here. I got my regular dice. So that's a 9 + 2 actually gets me up to 11.
Ooh. On
I'm
and
go over.
yeah, you both go too far. So how does Anther go a bit too far in this conversation? What do you think?
Let me just read that move so I can see exactly what it says about that.
Okay.
That is reach for the light. 1 plus you go too far. You each choose 1 from above and 1 below.
I can give you something important to miss.
I reveal what I didn't mean to. I miss something important. I destroy something beautiful we share. Yeah, I think I'm gonna miss something important. I like that.
Yeah, I think
As I'm trying to kind of fumble my way through this, I'm gonna like whatever obvious thing that a regular person talking to this ghost would notice, just completely goes by me.
No, Cameron, she doesn't have a tail. I think what you'll miss is that, like, when you say, like, it's daunting, she's not straightforward about this. In fact, she's a bit awkward and shy about this. But basically, she's like, well, you don't have to wait that long. I mean, if one needs a guide for any reason, like for stocks or for ghostly matters, well, I mean, I know you have your hands full. She's basically like saying that, like, she doesn't want to go just yet. She wants to stick around with you.
Oh, but I'm not picking up on it. Yeah. Got it. Where I'm just like, you'll be fine. And she's like, I really won't be. And I'm like, you'll be fine. So yeah, I like that. That's cool. All right.
Cool. You still choose 1 from above, which is nice.
I'm gonna mark XP as I'm kind of slowly learning my way around. Like I said, fumbling around what it is like to be a sack of meat with feelings. So
that's true. Yeah, I think I think she can tell that like she's not gonna like get through this easy enough, and I think she'll just say like, and I'm imagining this conversation is happening in the van as probably Nicole's driving you straight to the airport. No time for her food or anything. In and out. She's already called division. Unless there's anything else anyone wants to do. But yeah, I think she just kind of said like, yeah. Well, like I said, if I see you next, hopefully it's on this plane. I should get going and figure out what that is. I'll remember you, Anther. I'll definitely try. Yeah.
And I'm gone.
Yeah, not even a goodbye. Cool.
All right.
Hell yeah. Okay, so I think I want to ask Shard if there's anything else you want to do, because otherwise I will call for a break because I drank my coffee too quickly.
That's fine. We can have a break, and I've chosen a Doom move.
Ooh.
So-
All right. Well, let's I say break, but I'm gonna pause this, so there's not gonna be a break for the video or the recording. But let's leave that for after the break. Let's come back
Okay.
at let's take 10 minutes. And we'll come back and we'll learn what this Doom move is, and then we're gonna see what the division is.
Okay.
Woohoo.
Okay.
Right.
Cool.
So BRB. Okay. I just saw the Doom move, and I feel like that's a dramatic moment that we might save for a little bit later. Unless, I don't know, Shard, do you want to see this move? Do you want to see this before you get to the division or at the division?
I don't know. I have not had any thought. I just realized I should have picked a move, and I chose the one that seemed interesting. So I'm fine with whenever this patron or whatever it is makes itself known,
Okay,
or
cool.
themselves, or
Okay, cool.
herself, or
There's
whatever.
a lot of vectors for that. You have an evil eye on you. Definitely we'll see this harbinger of yours, your dark patron, contact you at some
Okay.
point.
Cool.
Because I do kind of want to like, yeah, let's flesh out the division. In the base game, the division is just it is just that title, which does stand for something. It's the Department of Interdimensional Vigilance and International Security Interdisciplinary Operations Network. Shout outs to Jamie's partner who apparently came up with that. So you've got kind of like what's known, what its division title and what it does. But other than that, where it's based, who the people in it, that's all for us. So I think at the start of the series, we kind of like vaguely mentioned maybe they're based in at least the division headquarters that y'all are based in, because part of the wishes that I forgot to read out is like to see your home base, where y'all hang out, where your rooms are. It might just I think we vaguely mentioned it might be in Britain, because we did mention you kind of caught the red eye to Dublin, and you got there fairly sharpish. We can say it's probably like, yeah, Britain, maybe. Ooh, is it in the metropolitan area or it's somewhere like in the more secluded countryside?
I would love it if it were in like Dover, in what used to be, like a home defense fortress kind of a thing, right? Like old fortifications from World War II, where like laid in against the the Axis invasion that they were worried they might have to deal with, and now that Europe's all getting along.
I don't.
We've taken it over.
I don't know about.
Oh,
I really don't like the idea of being in a military thing.
Okay.
It's ex-military. It's a museum now.
Oh,
That is the cover for the whole area could be like a huge museum.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, whatever, like
Museum?
historic. No, sorry, I didn't mean that it was an active military installation. I mean, it's like it used to be a military installation. The military's like, we have no more use for this.
No, they probably don't.
Yeah, and handed it like handed it over, or somebody bought it for a song and a dance or something like that.
I think that would be state run. Usually these things are Dover's, and we're still in England, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think
Yeah,
it would be might be state run, or maybe they've sold it to finance Brexit. Who knows? But to some Americans, maybe that's why the division is here. Maybe that's pretty new, because like that's an old castle. They have lots of old castles in Great Britain.
Okay. Yeah.
And this is not even really old castles. World War II. I mean, this was basically yesterday.
Like a like a castle's even cooler.
Maybe there used to
that's
be
way
some
better.
sort of castle, and then the British Army built it up, and just to fight against the invasion, and
yeah, or like their super soldier program that just never worked out, kind of thing like that. That's yeah.
These guys of super soldiers, they always they couldn't resist a pub, and then they kind of it didn't work for reasons.
I'm on a weird position where I'm running a game that's native to my time zone. I don't have any British players to correct us. This is
Funny.
strange. I'm not quick. I don't know anything about
All right. Well, anyway, here we are.
I really want to have one of these blow up tanks. The balloon tanks that they use to foil the Nazi bombers that they put in the field, just to look at it, because I find the idea so incredibly that they had actually blow up. They just, sorry.
tanks. Yeah, I'm down for a castle.
Nice.
Oh yeah, you're talking about the inflatable tanks that were used during World War
the
II,
inflatable is the word I was looking for.
to spoof German reconnaissance.
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
prior to and during the Battle of Britain, because they were so rightfully concerned about the possibility of invasion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've read a lot about that history, so I can fill in.
I just read it in a novel, and I was like, is the author making this up? And
that
I
sounds like
found
something.
out,
No, very much not. In fact,
No.
the British magician Maskelyne was one of the people involved in that, although he did more work in North Africa. But the same kind of idea, making pretend tanks and buildings that looked real enough from aerial reconnaissance, but weren't.
Hell yeah. I'm down for a castle.
Okay,
for sure.
let's take that one. That's a good one.
That is a nice castle. Mario put a picture of Dover Castle. Sure you can be there. I'm sure there's maybe like more underground stuff than the populace realizes about this castle. Man, it's been under renovation for so long. We're just not allowed to go there. I mean, tourists probably want to, but it's just no. We're well, one day it'll be finished renovating. So maybe, hopefully. I think I kind of want to cut to debriefing because that's one of the wishes. Let's see. You're not going to be debriefed in the throne room. That's ridiculous. Maybe it is in a nice tower room. I kind of like the idea of the room you're going to be debriefing. It's at least circular, for sure. There is a really nice, weird wrap-around TV that curves with the wall. I don't know how they did that. And it's the four of you with your superior. And I'm going to try something that's worked out well the last 3 times I've tried this. I'm going to ask each of you to give me a characteristic of this character. We're going to collectively build him. And it could be any characteristic from bald to wears shiny clothes. Just one from each of you.
I have a bizarre one, so I'll go first or last as you like.
Let's hear it.
Okay. He is hooked by cable that goes from his head to a machine that is in the back room, and which clicks and clacks sometimes in between when he's talking.
Everyone cool with that? Hell yeah.
So
That's
this
rad.
is it it's, it's a, he taps off a database, or maybe it's part of his life support or something.
I'm down for that. I'm gonna have to trawl through Pinterest trying to look for that. Anyone else have a characteristic they want to add to your superior?
I think they usually talk in a very low voice, sound very calm, even when they're saying really critical shit. They don't show much emotion. There is always a faint aura of disappointment, but they never shout. They're very British in that way.
Very understated.
Yeah, very understated. Understated is good, yeah. And they're wearing a suit. Maybe.
There is quite a huge terrarium in the office with super colorful frogs in it.
Yeah, this
Looking
would be
quite
his
tasty,
office.
to be honest.
Cameron.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
So that there's a terrarium with super colorful frogs, and it's like one of those super huge ones. Looks like you could fit a shark into it, but it's just a bunch of tiny colorful frogs.
So whenever you talk to them, there is just frog croaking in the corner.
And I think one of the other things about them is that there's that, like, we talked about that little bit of disappointment that can often convey. But I think he is 100% sincere, uncynical, true believer in the Division project. No, no irony, no, ends justify the means. He is, no kidding, fully engaged with the Division mission and has this expectation that everyone else is too.
I feel that he might have been around for World War II. He sounds like some sort of veteran from a war or something, some sort of crisis.
Yeah, but I think like absolutely 100% true believer in the in the goals of the project, and in that we're actually doing the right thing.
Is he sometimes kind of playing some sort of a father figure role, like in the movies?
I suspect
like
that's
in the most recent.
That feels like a play to find out thing to me.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm scrolling through. I'll give him a name for sure. I think his last name is McLaughlin. For sure. Spelled like this. Agent McLaughlin. I think he is sitting in his desk. He sits quite stiffly, just to not jostle the cable in the back of his head. Imagine he's bald, I think. And he is like reading a report in front of him, and there's just like silence except for the flipping of pages and the croaking of frogs in the corner. And there's just like, the four of you probably either sitting or standing. Sitting. He has chairs all around. He has like, also some specialized chairs for folks who don't fit human standards. It's all good. Make sure everyone's taken care of for their needs. And he's just flipping through. He reads quickly, like the flips between pages are quite quick. And once he gets to the end, he closes his eyes for a moment, and then he opens them and is looking directly at the four of you, and he says, Agent McCarthy certainly had quite a number of exemplary commendations that she's written up for the four of you. It's astonishing given that we rarely get anything out of her longer than maybe a memo or a poorly drawn picture. So the four of you must have really impressed her. Would you agree with that assessment?
I think because I do not know that we impressed her, but we made an impression.
I am afraid I can't take any credit from this. I have been falsely led into a trap, I'm afraid, and I still couldn't figure out who laid the trap for me.
Well, I hope then that you'll devote some of your time, Cameron Sweettooth, to figure out how is it exactly that you were led into this kind of trap. Though your teammates did solve the mystery and defeat this Balor of the Evil Eye, you were not a part of that fight, or you're not. I hope you'll carry that experience into the future and be there when your team needs you, Cameron Sweettooth.
I will. And I mean, it seems I seem to have a history with that. I think the case where I passed out due to sweets in 1969 is still unsolved. Maybe we should have a task force for that, because I do not feel safe anymore.
Well, woe betide what do you call you, a man or a creature? I get the feeling he'd be respectful. Well, what has Cameron preferred in the past? I do. Would he prefer man or creature? Because you probably dealt with Agent McLaughlin in the past. You've known each other.
They might just call everyone agent.
Oh yeah, that's true. Operative. Yeah, agent.
Yes.
Makes sense, yeah. Or operative, yeah.
That avoids the whole species naming problem.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I do remember when you brought up these concerns, operative, in the past. 1969 seems so long ago that I'm quite surprised there hasn't been a similar incident until decades later. Do you really think there's a connection here?
Sir, some of our enemies have plenty of time to play a foul game. So I would not underestimate the possibility of a connection between the two cases. Sir?
Well, at least you did not half destroy a construction site, so congratulations.
Yes, I mean, no lasting harm done, says Hope. As I said, has a huge bandage on one arm.
There've certainly been worse cases of collateral damage, although from Operative McCarthy's report, certainly more could have been unleashed upon Dublin. So at the very least, I'll agree with her commendation on that.
Operative McCarthy's vehicle was destroyed during the operation. Per
It was more
protocol,
destroyed than just the vehicle.
per protocol, it should be replaced by the division.
That is per protocol, but Operative McCarty has always insisted on, well, operating on her own terms, and she's already refused whatever benefits we can give her. She prefers to keep things down on her own terms over there. You must have had questions as to why our presence in Dublin seemed lacking. Well, as I said, she has quite a bit of seniority despite her adventures, and she prefers some autonomy. And so whatever compensation we would be willing to give her for that fan, she prefers to, well, waive those compensations away. But I'll take note of your concern, Operative Anther. It says here that the cause of the hauntings, the quote-unquote distended conductor, the quote-unquote Balor of the Evil Eye, was destroyed. There's no mention of where exactly or what exactly induced this occurrence to happen. I was hoping any of you could shed light as to what their termination meant. For someone as florid as Operative McCarty, she's quite terse on the matter. I think like he's like sweeping, he has like his sweeping, almost kind of like CCTV camera gaze on the four of you. Shard, you still have that eye, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do have, yeah, but I've never mentioned that.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, basically, what he's saying is like Nicole didn't mention how this Balor came from, how he got terminated. Just like, oh, he got defeated, and Operative McLaughlin is just like,
Oh, I will mention the rosary that we pushed into Balor's chest, and that he did not seem to like that.
yes, that was detailed in the report.
And the destruction of the portal was also not something that he enjoyed. And I think Agent Anther here grew into the rosary and attacked him.
I think like he just stares at you for like an uncomfortable 5 seconds, and nah, I'm not gonna make you. No, I'm not gonna make you roll for this, because it's there's not enough for him to like pounce on you specifically for this. There's just an omission, and I think he'll say like, noted. I'll amend that to Operative McCarthy's report.
I fear the rosary might have taken damage.
Bring that to the. Hold on, let me look up the name of that move again. Be sure to have that reported to the Holy Symbol Arsenal. Relics with such power are quite rare, Operative Shard, and I hope that you would take care to respect their power. They are not grenades. They are tools.
Exactly. I used them as a tool to defeat a thing that was threatening a whole town. Is that not the purpose? Did I do wrong here to use it in that way?
Well,
It was instrumental in killing this thing.
I don't doubt that.
I watched it from very close.
I don't doubt that.
If I might add to that, sir, if I wouldn't have led into a trap and would have been missing the final battle, I am certain that Shard would have been able to use it in a more careful manner. I
do not think there is any way of using a holy relic carefully. That is not their purpose. Their purpose is to be used with all the force of the faith and belief behind them, isn't it? Agent McLaughlin. Is my understanding faulty? Should I have waited for somebody else to tackle this thing, or should I have taken another way of tackling this thing? I mean, I could have.
God. I think you kind of like stare. Are you, I guess when you're like speaking up for yourself, Shard, are you like
I mean it. I'm honest. I'm sincere here. I really want to know if this was the right track that I was taking, or if I should have just unleashed my darkness at them and have ripped them apart, basically, like something like that. But I'm unsure, and I want him to advise me. Also, I'm a bit resentful at Cameron just suggesting that I could not have handled this on my own.
I think like it gives it like another like uncomfortable stare, another 5-second pause, and he says, "Well, a truism of division is that only those in the field know what's best at the moment, and one learns from the consequences once the dust has settled. I hope, Operative Shard, that you are more aware of what consequences there are, even in a mission as successful as this. You say a holy symbol has been ruined and may need some repair. Well, that's under repair. That is of little use to us, in which case it'll be of little use to any other problems that might crop up in the world. There is quite a lot to be done, not just here, but all over the globe. This case of yours, this Irish fairy construct brought to life, is not the only such case of a similar stripe.
No, there's Carnivan, for example.
I think like whenever you make your mysterious pronouncements, he just kind of like blinks slowly.
And then Hope looks around and goes, "Oh, sorry."
Yeah, McLaughlin blinks slowly as if he's like filing that away. Yes.
That's there probably will be one in Carnivan, sir.
Be sure to
in Wales, Northwest Wales, in the castle there or near it.
As always, Operative Hope, be sure to report that to the Predestination Division. No, it won't be divisions in the division. No, it will be like department. There we go. That makes more sense. Be sure to report that to the Predestination Department. I'm sure they will look into it.
Yes, sir.
I apologize for misjudging. I will attempt to not do it again.
You see Hope screw up her face at that.
And I think Anther says, like, completely flat, without any hint that she understands or gives away, like, exactly the nature of what she's doing. Like kind of cocks her head to Hope and says, the Predestination Department surely already knows, rendering your report unnecessary.
Hope bursts out into giggles.
Yeah. And Anther's just totally like completely flat, you know, just like it's a completely reasonable conclusion to draw from that.
I think like at that, Agent McLaughlin will kind of like,
I'm sorry. Sorry, excuse me, sir. And then she bursts out into giggles again.
just be sure to log what you say to the predestination department. Dismissed. Except for you, Operative Sweet Tooth. And he kind of just like waves everyone else off.
Shard,
Yes,
you didn't do anything wrong.
apparently I did.
Never mind the captain. Ugh, no, he's wrong.
He has experience.
Yes, he does. But he wasn't
And he-
there.
Yes, but he is right in his assertion that this rosary might have been of use to others, and
Yeah,
could've-
yeah, but it would, but but if you hadn't used it there, we might not have won.
but we might have.
So you know, that's
don't
what
know
they're
that.
for. That's what that's what these artifacts are for. They're to be used. They're
They're
to be
really-
used.
Yes, but not indiscriminately. I understand what he's saying.
Besides, you got something for it.
I did.
Yeah, of course.
Yes.
I
Well,
saw it. I mean, you know, it doesn't have to be a thing. But not indiscriminately. You didn't do it indiscriminately. It was hurting it, and so you pressed on it. You pressed on it and used it some more until it killed it. I mean, does he want us to count bullets or whatever the med division equivalent is? It's like, oh, you guys used too many bullets killing that thing. It's like, well, that's what bullets are for. You're to kill things.
they are a limited resource.
We're a limited resource.
Yes.
We're a much more limited resource than any of the stuff they have in that musty old room.
Well,
She's gesturing. She's gesturing with her bandaged hand, bandaged arm.
well, yes, I appreciate the sentiment. Thank you, Hope, for saying that. But maybe I should have used more, just more, released more of my what I can do. But
No.
it's kind of hard to get myself back together again.
No, you did it
You
right.
saw that.
He did it right. He was wrong.
Did it?
He wasn't there. He didn't see it. And it might not have worked if you hadn't. I can't tell exactly. But it might not have.
Well,
Because nobody else had a weapon that really worked against him. And only the fact that you were burning him with that thing let me, let Hope.
that's some of the hopes. One hope. No? Hope? Still there?
But yes, hello?
You froze up for a moment there.
Yeah.
Okay. Very appropriate.
Yeah, I
We'll
wasn't
take that
sure.
as an in character. We'll take that as an in character thing.
Yeah, I assumed it wasn't in character
There's-
thing.
Yeah, yes, she says, I wouldn't have been able to destroy that gate if you hadn't been paralyzing him with the rosary.
Well, then I will go and see Sister Lucretia and explain to her that this was very important.
It was
Thank you.
necessary. Yeah.
Oh, was that another
Could you
reaching out
help
for the
me?
light?
I think so, yeah.
Sorry, I was just wondering if like Hope was
Yeah.
again reaching out for the light.
Yeah,
Or...
I feel that she did.
Okay. Sure.
I mean, I hope that she did, because I have this condition I could definitely do without.
Okay. Well, we will roll and add 2.
Mhm.
Another 9.
Wow, it's well, it's different dice, but the exact same. Cool. So on an 8 to 10, you both find the light in the dark. How do you gain hope from each other? And then each of you will choose one.
Well, I mean, she gave me more my confidence in my own decisions back at least a little.
Yes. Well, yeah. Hope's purpose is to keep people from falling into the pit. She thinks so. So she's glad to have done that.
Yeah, I think you can see that these cracks in Shard's skin are starting to close. And I mean, it's weird, but Shard looks not quite like you, but a little like you, like maybe some cousin or something, like maybe a young woman made of not really flesh, but it's more like stone still. But
Shard,
Hmm?
Can you look like me?
Of course I can look like you. And then I change my shape to look like you. That is not.
Hope shudders and her eyes moisten.
Are you okay? I can stop. Should I stop?
No, it's good. It's good. It's really good.
Okay.
I can also look like your cat, and then I change to look like your cat.
Humphrey wise opens his eyes wide and dodges behind a pillar.
And I look up at you and say, "Meow."
Oh, no, that's just confusing. But thank you for looking like me.
I'll change back. I'm not.
I don't want you to. I don't want you to do it. If you don't want to, but it's been a long time since I saw anybody from my family, and
Kind of hard to keep the shape, but
yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. Even just for the while, that was great. It was great. It was like somebody was there that I knew. I don't think. I don't think anybody understood when I got sent back how hard this was going to be.
I have to go. I have to
Okay.
take this back. But thank you, Hope. Really, that helped.
Thank you too.
Of course, we're a team, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then I guess that's the scene.
Yeah. Cool. So we all are back in division. Let's see. Let's do.
Anther?
Oh yeah. What is Anther up to? Without
I just want to. Hope wants to ask Anther for something.
Yeah, I'm gonna you would probably find me walking towards the orphanage, I think. And if we want to do a thing where the two of us go walking into the orphanage together while you're talking to me, we can do
Yes,
that.
I'd like that.
Cool. Yeah. So I mean, whatever, I think probably one of the things that's disconcerting is that like we've said, kind of when I move, I don't walk like a normal person. I just kind of because it's the plants that are controlling my feet kind of grow forward and then pull me along. It's
Sure.
like I'm almost sort of gliding along the floor, right? And I don't eat. I just, like, when the rest of you are having meals, I just get like this nutrient mist and like one of those, daylight
Lamps.
like simulation lamps that I sit under for whatever amount of time you guys would be eating and stuff. So whatever, chow time we had, we finish up with that. And I try to do that. Like, they've set it up so that I can do that. I can take in nutrients in the same location as you, and we can have conversations and stuff like that. And so maybe we've just finished whatever, our, like post-briefing topping off meal or something. And, I've shut my little shower down and I'm, kind of gliding out of there.
Hope is vexed because she says, eating with one hand is hard. I spilled soup all over myself. She's dabbing at it with a bit of napkin.
Can you not simply replace your garments?
Oh yeah, I can. It was just it was just messy and clumsy. And my hand hurts.
Yes, it will take some time to heal.
Do you know medicine?
I have some familiarity with the physiological processes of human bodies.
Have you practiced at all?
No, I have been told that my bedside manner is inappropriate for a medical practitioner.
I bet it is. How about your physical skills? Can you rebandage my hand? I can tell you how to do it. I just can't do it because it takes two hands.
Perhaps.
That's the problem with having a hand wound, is that you can't.
And I, and I kind of like
I can't just make manipulatory appendages like you and Shard can.
I understand. And I, kind of like, where are we going to go to do this? Can we just, and like, I think I like we're walking down the hall and I just turn to you and like take your hand and like shing, like a sharp, bit of branch comes out and, like something that looks like a barb off of like a, some plant that might, like a rose or something like that. And I'm just about to just like cut the bandage right off you, like standing there, like in the middle of the hall.
Why don't we go into this side room here so we're not in the way of anybody else?
Yes. Yeah, so we go in there. And I say, do you have the necessary materials?
I do. Here, and she reaches into her purse, her bag, and she pulls out her bag and puts it on the table and kind of awkwardly one hand dumps out a bandage roll or two.
Mm-hmm.
It just needs to be changed once a day, and I don't want to walk all the way to the infirmary, and besides, they're busy.
I understand. And I like, I lay out the bandages and the clips and whatever it is that's required for this, like in exactly the layout that I would have seen it when I read a medical text about how to do this, right? Mm-hmm. Not like it's any, and I just, and like very unsentimentally just kind of take your arm, grip it, shing, that claw comes out, and I just kind of zip it along the bandage, and it like the cut is perfect. The bandage just kind of parts and falls away.
Oh, that's nice. I was afraid it was it was going to get stuck and hurt. You see that she's missing 4 fingers.
Hmm. Ah. Oh. And I kind of squint and I say, my understanding is that you will not regenerate these digits?
Sorry, but can I X-card this? Because I don't really want
yes.
the idea of having Cameron having eaten your fingers.
Fine.
Is kind of a
All right.
bit too far.
Yeah, no.
Cannibalism thing.
Okay, no, then I've got an intact hand. That's fine.
Yeah, no, I completely sorry. Maybe there's like some teeth marks, like
Yeah,
very
there's
prominent
just
teeth marks.
there's just a big they're just big bite marks.
Okay, cool. Sorry, I didn't even realize that was the nature of what we were dealing with here. So yes,
Yeah, same.
Completely agreed there. Yeah. Okay. So I look at that, and I just kind of take your hand, examine it, kind of press it a little bit, looking for, and I say, it appears to be clean and properly sterilized. I will bandage it. My understanding is that I should instruct you to inform me if any of this renders you sufficiently uncomfortable that you wish me to stop.
I am so informed.
And I nod, and then just like very expertly, like I've seen happen in videos or whatever, just wrap it up, ching, 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 snip it, and and whatever, clip it closed. And I say, it is healing properly.
Thank you. That's great. I really appreciate that. Let's go to the orphanage now, and I want to see.
So was I comforting her there? Was I reaching?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was coming
Absolutely.
from you. Cameron, did you want to say something? So you raise your hand there.
Yeah. If you all don't mind, I would like to continue with the scene where Cameron is with McLaughlin in the office, because there is something on my mind. I'm glad I don't have to talk about in front of the others.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We'll do this. Reach out for the light first, bro, and then we're gonna come back to that after this. Yeah. We're not gonna get to orphanage yet. If that's okay.
Oh, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna I don't have any darkness right now. I'm just gonna roll it flat.
Oh yeah.
I've got 2 4s, which is an 8 on the dice.
Hell yeah. Jeez, y'all are good at connecting to each other. Not to NPCs, but
we both find the light in the dark. How do we gain hope? I think, let me see here. What do I got happening? I'm going to take another bond with hope, I think.
And I'll take a bond back with Anther.
Yeah. And this is Hope has, Hope invited me to, like basically Hope trusted me to do a thing that everyone else has told me I'd probably be bad at. Because
then in fact, Hope says afterwards, she says, I don't know about the talking part, but in the doing part, you're terrific.
Thank you.
hell yeah. All right. I think we can wrap there for the moment. And yeah, pick a thing from that list, the both of you. Rack up the XP, rack up the bonds. Cool. So yeah, let's go back to the office. I think McLaughlin just kind of just nods to like the chair for you to like bring the chair closer. He doesn't want you standing for this.
Yeah, I dragged the chair across the floor to sit like real close to McLaughlin, because it's a matter that I want to talk about in a real quiet voice, so I sit as close as possible, which might be awkward for human standards.
He's not completely human at this point. So he's just kind of extensively there, and I think he'll just say like, if you're worried about confidentiality, Operative Sweet Tooth, nothing in this room goes out without my permission. What is it that you want to say?
Glad to know. So, regarding my blackout earlier, I did get the invitation, and I'm showing him the paper, and it sort of looks like Hope's handwriting, but on second thought, we don't see Hope using handwriting that much. She's more the type of like printer guy, I'd say. Plus, there's something else that is even more concerning. When I woke up, I had a taste of blood in my mouth. But at that point, none of the others were there. When I tried to leave the alleyway, which was several minutes after I woke up, I ran into Hope, and her arm was already bandaged, but she was with the others, fighting the big bad guy. How could she possibly have been with me and at the same time with the others? That doesn't really make sense, does it?
Do you have concerns about Operative Hope that you'd like to share, Operative Sweet Tooth?
No, I'm 100% sure about the loyalty of Hope. What I'm not sure about is if we do have a doppelganger or anything alike within our range.
I think like he blinks for a moment and then he'll reach out and open a drawer in his desk, pull out a rather thick file. It's like full to bursting, and there's one word on it, and it just says hope. And he says, from my interactions with Operative Hope, I don't doubt her loyalty as well. It's her situation that concerns me. It's volatile. It's time has never been friends to anyone, and she is one who invites time into the proceedings, and so one attains discrepancies like the one you're experiencing, Operative Sweet Tooth. Are you concerned that you will be unable to work with her in the future?
No doubt about it. It's just I don't really understand this time travel thing. I don't know how somebody could be at two places at the same time. I just don't understand it. And it gives me the creeps, to be honest.
In my experience, Operative Sweet Tooth, I try not to trust anyone who claims they've understood time. It's hard to puzzle out. I understand your concerns. Given though the circumstances of yourself waking up with blood in your teeth, should I be concerned of you working with others?
No, you don't need to be concerned about that. If I would have been drugged in a way, or maybe like something like hypnotized, I wouldn't have a total memory loss, I guess. I would remember faint details.
Except for 1969.
In luckily, in 1969, the others found me in time, and I only could destroy one block in LA back then. So I think
I think I don't. His expression is blank enough that I don't think. But you can tell he doesn't have complete faith. Um, Completely.
I mean, what I'm sure about is that somebody did drug me. I know my limits with candy. I really do. And this was not even half the ration I could have eaten.
You might have to listen to the dark again. You're
Yeah.
God. You missed one session and suddenly you're full of emotional turmoil. Meanwhile, everyone else is just like, reach out, reach out.
It's a 7 because I don't have any darkness to speak.
Oh. On a 7 minus, the darkness will speak, and you must listen well, child. You must immediately act towards what the darkness demands. Okay, so I think you kind of like say that, and what's the last memory you have of your swamp dimension from so long ago?
I think the last memory is that that I was in the midst of a huge battle between clans, and there have been rumors of invaders that actually started the war between the clans.
Yeah, I think. Can I add that maybe in that war there was like a moment where you're like alone in the swamp. There was nobody with you except for like the sound of frogs, and that those frog sounds are you're hearing now in the office.
Yeah,
And he's looking at you like he can't trust that you can act around other people for the moment. And the frogs are kind of like sent. They're invoking a. I think there's like this wave of nostalgia. It's kind of like comes out. Let's see. Darkness wants you
okay.
to yearn for a love that can never be yours.
Well, I could add a second demand. So I could add to betray those who love me most.
Ooh.
And I just assume that that's my my friends in the division.
Yeah. But I think like the way the darkness is speaking to you is like suddenly you're remembering your old home, your old swampy lands. And suddenly it's kind of like almost overpowering. Um, the frog noise is like swelling up, and it's just reminding you that you're not from here. You're from so far away.
And I think I'm standing there, like just staring into the terrarium, listening to the voice of the frog, and everybody, like the audience, can see that my skin is getting brighter again.
Yeah. And I think like we established Operative McLaughlin does not raise his voice, but his voice will just cut through and we'll just say, Operative Sweet Tooth, I want to give you a chance to prove yourself that you're committed to ensuring that what the division does will go off without a hitch. This is a mission just for you, and it's a chance for you to prove you belong here.
I must thank you for your trust in me, and just like the past 450 years, I will not disappoint the division.
I think he nods at that, and he picks up the big file and hope and hands it over to you. Do you take it?
I do. Um, and 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 I will leave the office in an extremely suspicious way. Remember I got the trench coat on, and one hand is like in the inside of the trench coat, and the other hand is covering it up, and there's clearly something big underneath the trench coat, and I'm just running back to my room.
The fun thing is that because it's a division, you're not the only one in a giant trench coat. There's someone who has octopus arms. Trench coat. No, I'm kidding. Okay, cool. I think we have time for like at least a 6-minute break or a 5-minute break. Let's come back at 10 to the hour, and then we'll see Shard and then the orphanage. BRB. So Shard, hi, hello, how's life? Um,
Oh,
Yeah. So tell me what this little havoc the eye is causing. Like you've had this
okay.
eye for quite some time now, or
Yeah.
not quite some time, but
Well, a few hours, maybe a day, so not that long. But I think so he's changed. They've changed shape, and then she's looked like Hope, and then he looked like Humphrey, and then they just went on back to looking like what they're mostly presenting like, and returned the rosary to Sister Lucretia, and then trundled off to their room, which is basically a very bare room where they can just let go a little bit of form, really, but it doesn't really happen quite like usually. And I found this picture that I have in my character
hold on.
sheet now, and I think that that might be what is exactly happening, that there is some kind of light, something that is trying to keep the form more together than usual. So the way that the flesh is kind of letting go and flying out, that's actually what is supposed to happen when they get to their room and don't have to keep on their shape. But this weird eye, maybe it's the eye, maybe it's something different, but probably something coming from the eye is kind of dragging the whole body a little back.
Yeah, I think you hear, whew, like soft murmurings coming from the eye. It's hard to make out what it's saying, but it's like, yeah, it's causing this like not pain, but like it feels uncomfortable to be having it in you, for sure. But it's like murmuring inside of you, and it's kind of reverberating these whispers as your form struggles like this.
Yeah, I think I'll try to drag it out to just see if I can get rid of it or look at it or whatever. I mean, I had a reason for taking it. I just can't remember.
Yeah, you might have to. I think I'm gonna have to ask you to roll for this. Be the monster. Why don't you?
Be the monster. Okay, I can maybe do that, I guess. I will spend 2 darkness tokens here and roll 2 dice. 1, 2. Haha, I've rolled a 10, so I've got a 12.
Oh, buddy. All right.
Yeah.
So on an 11 plus, the monster goes too far and there's a complication, worse outcome, or hard choice. Okay, so you try to like flush it out, for lack of a better term, or like bring it out, maybe bring it out into your hand. Ooh, I think the complication is when you bring it out, hold on, let me look at the lines just to be sure. Just to be sure. Okay. I don't think I see it there. The complication is that when you try to like bring it out, it opens as like an actual eye on your hand, on like the palm of your hand, and it's looking around kind of like frantically. It's like yeah, it's like about an eye on the palm of your hand.
That's fair.
Yeah, and I think you can feel it like embedding itself on you into you. So I think you're gonna take a condition again.
Okay, I'm fine with that. I'll take in this. I think what I want in that. I think it's reactive. Yeah.
Oh God. Yeah. And the whispering, as soon as like it latches itself into your person, the whispering does get like louder and it kind of like fills up your head. And yeah, let's talk about this doom move that you took. My dark patron.
Yeah. Harbinger of the Apocalypse has taken special interest in me and appears to want to stall the apocalypse for now. Say who they are and how they help you. The Keeper will tell you how they terrify you. Oh.
Yeah. So it is up to you. Who do you think is this dark patron of yours? They're gonna make their presence known through this eye soon.
I think it's a mythical being. Let's go with Surtur.
It could be the original Baylor.
No, I think we destroyed that. I think maybe the Eye of Baylor was something that belonged to Surtur, the fire giant of
Sure.
I think Jotunheim. He was. So
Yeah. I think then Shar, do you feel pain as a person who
rarely,
changed?
only when, usually only if I intend to.
Yeah, well, you're not intending to, but you're feeling a warmth coming from your hand as this eye kind of like it was like, well, okay, no, when Balor had it, it was an evil eye, so it's red. But I think that red is it was dark red, but now it's turning to like this fiery kind of red as the eye kind of like almost like grows into your palm and you feel warmth coming from it. It's not painful, it's an uncomfortable kind of warmth flooding into your hand. And this like raspy soot stained voice cuts through the whispers. And they just kind of say, you are the one who struck down the evil eye, the beholder. You are brimming with potential, little shardling.
I think at this moment I remember that I've heard that voice before when I became what I am now. If that's okay?
Yeah?
Cool.
I'm glad to have found you after so long.
And Shard tries to get rid of it, kind of like changing shape around it, so it's not in the palm anymore, but in the shoulder or in some kind of maybe forehead. But it's all, they can't get rid of it. It's always there. Whatever shape they change into, it's still it's still there, and finally they will return to a more human-like shape and look at it
Yeah.
in the palm of their hand and say, "What do you want from me?"
You are but a shard of what's to come. For now, I simply wish to be reacquainted with you. We were meant to forge something stronger, but that woman of yours had other plans. Part of the move is like you will say, how do they help you?
I think what I'm asking that woman, do you know where she is? Can you help me find her? Can you help me figure out what she did and why and who I am?
If you are to receive my help, well, we must be of an accord, little shardling. A boon for a boon seems to be the right kind of agreement.
I won't betray my friends.
I would only ask of you what you can give me, little shardling. I'm not one to overextend my allies. Let me be an ally to you and to you and you to me. I'm sure that together we can forestall the dark for as long as we can.
Yeah, okay. What must I do? And I think we can cut it here, actually,
Yeah.
because I like that point.
Yeah, I think this is when the point when the whispers crowding your head become legible and you know what kind of like Surtur wants you to do. So when during play, you can mark a doom and receive a temporary boon or ally from your dark patron, and they will use your power for a time to serve their own plans. You can mark 2 doom, though, to get that help but not serve their agenda. So yeah, fun times for Shard.
Yeah, love it.
I think when you're not using it, the eye is gonna close, but you can still feel it on you. You know, it's kind of like when you close your eyes.
Yeah,
No matter what shape you take, it'll be there.
yeah, fair enough. I mean, I can even wear a glove until I forget that I'm wearing something and not just shaping it out of my own body, and then it would break apart. So I'd maybe experiment with that.
Yeah. Let's see how you do in the future. Cool. So let's see this orphanage. Heck yeah. Tell me, Anther, where is this place?
I suspect that it is probably above ground, to the extent that there are, I kind of get it in my head that there's a lot of underground stuff happening around here and things like that. And some of the, more dangerous stuff might be kind of buried where, if something blows up, it will do a lot less damage. But whatever above ground facilities we have, the orphanage is definitely one of those. And it's probably, it used to be, it's probably former, hospital building that they've repurposed for this purpose. And so we come walking out of whatever elevator or, stairway it is that we use to get up above and cross the, and I think, it's literally like, it's gotta, we go walking past one of those, like playground surfaces where they've resurfaced it with like the, like kind of like that hard rubber so that, anybody that falls will just get a bruise instead of a broken bone. And there's like a jungle gym and swings and a couple of seesaws and, one of those spinny things that you can, get going 100 miles an hour and then, throw up on. And so, and like I can't, like I feel like, we go walking in and it's kind of set up like a maybe like a boarding school or something like that. There's a receptionist there who is dressed in normal civilian clothes. We know she's got some kind of, that she is a fully trained agent, and almost certainly, that there's a weapon right under that desk that she can grab if she needs to. But, we go in and it is literally I think, there's a clipboard. We sign our names. And, she buzzes us through the double swinging doors.
Yeah.
And
Hope prints her name awkwardly with her offhand.
yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Because it's absolutely true. Hope doesn't write cursive.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Anther's handwriting is absolutely like flowing, curly Q, crazy Baroque, like calligraphic signature with all kinds of twirls and swirls and all this kind of stuff and everything. It's like it's incongruously like artistic and expressive from everything that we've seen from Anther before.
Hell yeah.
And I think if you look at the book, that like Anther, like there's a bunch of names, but every third one is Anther's, right? Indicating that she visits here a lot.
Yeah.
And as gorgeous as that signature is, it's identical every single time.
That's
and so they buzz us in, and like as soon as you go through the doors, like the doors start to open and you can hear noise of kids talking and classes being taught, and there's like artwork on the walls and stuff like this. Yeah.
I'm getting like Xavier School for Gifted Mutants vibes.
Yeah, I think that's entirely legit. That's completely reasonable, and a little more like a little more public school version of that.
Not a fancy mansion.
It is not a fancy mansion. This is probably a building that was built in the 60s or something like that, and they've, it's not falling down or anything like that, but it's a 40-year-old building. Or what? 60s. What am I talking about? It's a 60-year-old building at this point. So which is no big deal. It's it's been brought up to modern specs and all this kind of stuff, and it's got fuel efficient heating and all that sort of thing. But
I can't believe the 60s is 60 years ago. Jesus.
But we go in and 1960, exactly 60 years ago.
I want to ask, what's the first indication that these kids aren't quote unquote normal? They're like,
Oh, I think it's readily apparent from the pictures that are on the their crayon drawings and stuff that are on the walls as we're going down. In that there is a mix of super weird, dark, schizophrenic, Lovecraftian looking, shapes that some of these kids have drawn and stuff, kind of mixed with preternaturally hyper realistic, there's a third grade engineering project that is a diagram for a cold fusion reactor, right? Like that kind of thing. So it's this mix of precociousness, both intellectual precociousness and, kids having had encounters with things that kids have no business encountering. And it's all displayed there as, normal to their development.
Hell yeah. God, this is a fun place. These division moves. Okay. So technically what the move says, and obviously it doesn't mean we can't have scenes in it, but the move says, when you have enough time between or during missions, you may visit the orphanage with at least one other monster. If you do, each of you describes how you care for the young monsters, and then each of you erase one mark of doom. So start with Anther and then with Hope. Yeah, how are you spending your time here? And you can call for like scenes with the people here as well if you want to. But
Sure.
yeah.
So the caretaker who I get to define is Dr. Geppetto. She is like in her early 30s. Her great grandfather was the famous puppeteer who nurtured a mystical wooden mannequin to consciousness. She's a psychologist by trade. She oversaw my maturation and budding sentience when she was so like I first met her when she was like in her early 20s, right? I think, and she was quite young when I first became aware that she was kind of responsible for taking care of me. But she is and so I go to see her, and the young monster that I am attached to is I think I haven't given her name.
Oh, I thought that was the name, just the bog baby.
Yes, the bog baby. So she's the bog baby. And she is like a teenage girl from like Pictish era England, like pre-Roman England, who was basically like sacrificed into a bog, and at some point down through the centuries, all this kind of stuff and everything, very recently, in a division related operation, there was a fight with a vampire in this bog. Some of the vampire's blood got spilled into the bog, and it mixed with her body and the vegetation and all this kind of stuff and everything, because her body had been preserved in that way that you see happens there. And like the fight ended, whatever, we staked the vampire or chopped its head off or something like that, and a hand pushed itself up through the whatever, like the peat, right?
Yes.
We dug her out, and she hadn't, she couldn't speak modern English. She had no idea what the hell was going on, all this kind of stuff. But so we brought her back to the division.
Oh yeah. I was actually wondering this because like there's a second question part of that group. What high hopes do you have for our dear bog baby?
That she will help me bridge the gap between the plant and animal kingdoms, because she's both. She's got both. She like while her time there, like so she's got like a Swamp Thing.
Yeah, that's what
right?
I thought.
Yeah.
Description. Yeah. Probably does it. Yeah. Okay. I get that vibe. Yeah, and let's have this out here because like you also answered the third question. So why are you worried about the continued operations of the orphanage?
Because there are, as communication becomes easier and it becomes harder and harder to keep stuff like this a secret, there are interests and states around the world who it used to be you had a mutant baby you didn't know what to do with. You gave it to the division because you knew the division would take care of it, keep it safe, keep them from hurting anybody, and raise them properly. But now states are starting to try to do that on their own, because they're understanding, like the activities of the division have led various governments and maybe even large corporations to understand, oh, these strange people are not a problem, they're potentially assets. And so we're worried that the fact that they've figured that out means that they're going to be inclined to be less altruistic in terms of giving those strange beings a good home, rather trying to weaponize them.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so top level. Before we kind of drill into like if you want to talk to specific people, top level, I do want to know what the two of you are doing to help out in the orphanage, like montaging it. So yeah, Hope, why don't you go first?
Hope steps into a closet. She doesn't like to phase around division headquarters. She steps into a closet and she comes back out and she has a wetsuit on. And then she walks across the room and climbs into this tank, which is about 10 by 10 feet, full of water. And you can hear her make a noise, through the glass underwater. And these little sort of water babies come out. They are, they're, I don't know. The closest analog is kind of like a triton, so humanoid, aquatic things, but they're not, they're not mermaids or anything like that, and they're not fish, but they have big eyes, and they have a spiky spine over there that runs over the crest of their head and down their back, and they make little piping sounds, which have been figured out to be language. These things are here because their mother was killed by fishermen, and brought back and displayed as an oddity, and somebody realized, oh well, there might be more of them down there, and these ones with really no way of fending for themselves were captured and brought in here. And Hope dips her left hand into a pocket of the suit and produces a goodie and gives it to them, and they chitter around eagerly as she as her hair streams behind her in the tank, and she waves at Anther through the she knocks on the glass and waves at Anther through the glass of the tank.
Of course, Anther can't wait.
And she sits and the mask piece that she has emits little piping noises. What it's doing is it's translating her speech into, the very simple language that they figured out for these things, and they look very similar to each other. Under a magnifying glass, you could see differences, but especially as they're moving around, it's really hard to tell them apart. But Hope doesn't seem to have any trouble. She calls each of them by name, as if she obviously instantly recognizing the tiny differences that exist between them, as if that was something that she was used to doing. And it sits on the bottom of the tank, and she seems to be telling them a story or something like that, and that involves lots of hand gestures as they swim around her and bump into her and chitter back and otherwise do what children do, albeit very unusual ones. They've been determined to be fully sentient.
That's adorable. Erase one doom for that. Lovely.
They may be all that's left, as far as we know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Whether their mother came in, whether they live out in they live out in the open ocean, and the mother, came into the shores to breed and was caught and killed. But the division's never seen one of them before. Before that specimen, as it were, that was in the sort of believe it or not that somebody was looking to try to sell to a believe it or not museum, and one of the division agents who was out always looking for cryptids and things like that spotted it and realized there might be more.
Aw, that was lovely.
So that's her favorite. That's her. This the Lorelei tank, as she calls it, is her favorite. Um, they don't have a name for themselves, so she's called them Lorelei's.
Aw. What's Anther doing? I think we'll get this like shot, and then because I'm conscious of time, we'll probably like, wrap up. And when we come back in the future, we'll come back to this if you want to talk to specific folks in the orphanage. But what's Anther up to? I want to see.
I think montage. Anther shows up. The Bibi, which is what we call her, kind of colloquially. And montage of she's like having difficulty with some kind of manual dexterity exercise they're giving her. Anther comes walking in. She brightens up immediately. Anther, and we see that like her, Bibi's expressions of joy at seeing Anther has some kind of an effect on Anther that is different than just experiencing normal human emotions, because like, like some, maybe like just like normally she's got that mushroom hair, and maybe some little buds of flowers kind of pop out of the sides of her head or something like that. And she just kind of, as she spends time with Bibi, we see little like sprouts and bits of buds and flowers and stuff. And by the time Anther is done helping Bibi with these dexterity exercises, with figuring out, with helping her with eating, with understanding how photosynthesis works, with, trying to connect to, being able to like make herself grow and control her own body and stuff like this, that Anther just looks physically different, and like much more colorful, and almost like she's kind of dressed a bit because of the way leaves and stuff and little buds have sprouted out of her. And it's tough to tell that when she's smiling, because she just has this kind of, sort of relatively inscrutable, she has like the simulation of a face based on the way that like, the knots of wood grow and stuff like this and everything. But it's turned up in a way that makes it look like she might be smiling when she's done.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I think, and the final shot is of Bibi's hand out, looking, kind of a little like muck encrusted and, a little muddy, and, vines running through it and stuff like that. And Anther's, kind of slender, austere, wooden digits, and the two of them just kind of touching. And there's actually little tendrils that have grown in between them. And when we separate, they just kind of like, they just sort of snap apart as our hands pull apart.
Mm-hmm. I want to get the final shot from each character, kind of like that, and then I'll probably throw like a tiny cliffhanger because the orphanage move has that.
And I can remove a doom for that, right? Is how that works?
Yes.
Sweet.
You erase one mark of doom. Cool. So as we kind of close the case, so to speak, on these monsters for now, what's the last we see of them? Let's sweep back to Cameron, then Shard, then Hope, and I kind of want to end in Anther because that's where the omen is going to be. So Cameron, what's the last we see of you for now? You've been given this thing.
I mean, I think we see Cameron running through the halls into his room, closing the door, closing the door, pulling the desk in front of the door, then pulling out the files and reading them, and getting like even bigger eyes than he already got.
Can I ask for like a quick snapshot of his room? What's his room like?
So I think it's a pretty basic room. Cameron doesn't really spend too much time in here. He doesn't feel too comfortable. I think he's really into hiking and just especially in humid areas. So whenever it's raining, you can see him go outside hiking, because that's just his favorite environment. So it's really basic, but he put up this one poster, which is like sort of a fantasy drawing of a swamp, and it looks really surreal, but he feels that this poster comes closest to what he called home. So therefore, that fantasy poster is up on the wall. And maybe he got even like a record player because he was into it like in the 80s. He bought a bunch of records, but now they are all dusted.
All right, that's a lovely shot of poor Cameron reading this file. Do you have another Shard? Do you have another file shot, or is that last one of you talking to the eye? You think that's good to leave them there, or do you have anything else?
No, I've got an idea.
Ooh, go
So we're
ahead.
in Dover, right? They have a market, I imagine, and I think we see Shard walking. You can probably tell that it's Shard because they look pretty human, but the face is constantly changing. Like they're turning their head and they look a little different. And 2 streets further along, they look a lot different. And at one point, I think they stand in front of a fountain, like a public fountain, yeah, right, where people come to look at it and take photos and stuff like that. And then they will go and reach into the water, like they're maybe fishing for a coin somebody left there or just to refresh themselves. But you can see that as they draw their hand out, then a piece of a strand of their own flesh will leave off, like it's a little tiny snake that goes into the water and swims around there quite unobtrusively. And then Shard walks away, and as they turn, you can see the red eye on their face, and there's a smile that is definitely not Shard's.
Love to have it, Fiery Demon Lord. With you. Hope is that shot with you, the Lorelei. I think it's a good place to like leave her for now. It seems peaceful compared to her usual shtick.
Yeah, she's saying to the Lorelites now, it's okay to be the same as each other. Just because everybody else is different doesn't make that normal.
God, that's good. Okay, and I think, let's see, let me look at the orphanage move again. So when visiting the orphanage, you may discover something that hints at the coming apocalypse or witness a terrible omen. This will only happen if you tell the keeper what it is. Ooh, do we want to? I have an idea, but if Jim, if you have another one.
I think I know what I see as Anther that I recognize. And it is a relatively simplistic, representational child's drawing of, a crocodile man and a plant lady and a butterfly lady and and I think they represent hope as like 4 identical girls, like holding hands, like they're one of those cutout, expanding doll things, right? And maybe this is even a collage, right? I kind of like that, that like they've got some branches and it's like on a big piece of construction paper, they've made some branches out of Anther. Hope is one of these like expanding dolls like this. They've cut out a bunch of those like things where you like cut out half a butterfly out of a folded piece of paper and then you unfold it and they've sort of made them together roughly into the shape of a person. And there's like Oh, and it's definitely like an action figure of like some kind of wrestler that they have pulled the head off and put like an alligator head on, right? From a
Mhm.
from like a natural history museum thing or something like that. And so there's the four of these, and there is like a big picture of the planet Earth from like the cover of a National Geographic, right? Like that iconic shot of like the Earth taken from the moon. And it's just ripped into four pieces, and each of the figures is holding one of the pieces, kind of all surrounding it.
I think on that image, yeah, we'll close off that session. The last thing we need to do is end of session moves. Obviously, there's like one or two that like don't apply since we didn't do a mystery, but we'll go through them either way. So, as always, just see if you answered yes or no. And answer the following. For every yes, mark 1 XP. Did you express your monstrous nature or your humanity? Gee, I wonder what we did throughout this entire session. I wonder what we did. Hell yeah. Did you learn something significant about yourself or your impending doom? I think you did got one or the other for all of you.
Mhm.
If not impending doom, then something significant. Did you learn something significant about a fellow monster? Yeah, there might be some variation there, but you have like 3 other monsters you could learn something off of.
Yeah.
I don't know that I did. Did I learn anything? Oh yeah, you know what? I think that orphanage thing, I learned something about hope, which is that there's like something you actually give a shit about. So that was good.
Oh gosh, I hope gives so many shits.
Yeah.
Anther just
Yeah.
hasn't figured it out.
Yeah.
I think I learned something about Cameron because I don't think I knew how much he struggled with self-control.
Yeah.
Did not know that before.
Yeah, Hope didn't know that until she got bit.
Yeah. And I have like this major mission to understand Hope and her powers because I really, really do like her.
There's pressure on you. Cool. So yeah, for each yes, mark 1 XP. For the next ones, answer the following. For every no, you may choose to mark Doom. If I remember correctly, this was added in because some folks weren't getting Doom in earlier playtests. So like, here's an option if you want to.
Have some more Doom.
Have some more Doom. Okay. Did you uncover at least one key? Okay, that's a no. We didn't do a mystery. So you can mark Doom if you want to. Did you completely deny what the darkness demands of you? Let's see. For some folks, probably yes. I think like Anther could have kept those ghosts, but she didn't. Again, it's up to yourselves if you want to say yes or no. Did you reach for the light with someone? Who didn't?
Yes.
Like it matters as well if you were reached out to. I think that counts. So no marking Doom for you, all of you, for that question.
I will mark 1 Doom for did I keep the darkness at bay? I feel that I really, really didn't.
You need to hang out in the orphanage. Get rid of that Doom.
No,
Okay.
I'm afraid that I'll soak up the children, or one of them gets lost in me. No, I don't think that's a good idea.
That's fair. Okay. All right. That's it for our run of Apocalypse Keys. For anyone who's watching, listening, as you can tell, we are not leaving it here. We hopefully will see these sponsors again in the future because they're great. Their stories have just started. That orphanage. Okay, no, we'll talk about the debrief after I stop recording. But to anyone who's watching and listening, thank you all so much. Thank you all to these players who are just fab as always. Want to get involved? Well, one thing, there'll be a link in the description to get this game, Apocalypse Keys by Jamila Nejadi. You might remember such games as Balik Bayan, Oathbreakers, The Dying World, a lot of stuff. Sword Queen games, Temporal Hiccup, .itch.io. Again, there'll be a link down below. But yeah, like as mentioned at the start of the session, hang out, content open gaming, hang out with us. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up then. This video. Thank you all for anyone who watched or listened. Goodbye, YouTube, and your insert podcatcher program of choice. Goodbye.